Hey guys, what's up? We're back with some more official Smog Gun tournament content. Unfortunately, I was unable to catch this series live due to some in real life complications. I had a group project last night, and on top of that, it also overlapped with part of my dinner. So I was unable to catch it live. I just watched the series on my phone, but I am here to bring you guys post narration as I did promise I'd bring you guys all of the semifinal and final content for the official Smog Gun tour. In addition to that, I'm also trying a bit of a new format for this recording. As you guys can see, there's no battle chat here. It's just the direct battle itself. So you can see the 12 Pokemon, both of the users, Insult on Alt James and FlamingVictini on just his normal FlamingVictini. Yeah, no strings attached there, but the battle chat makes dimensions a bit quirky, and while changing it to theater mode when watching on a computer always solves this problem, and is what almost all of my viewers have been doing. I figured I'd try this out, so please leave feedback in which you prefer in the comments below if you're a repeated viewer or you care about this type of thing, and if you don't, then don't. That's cool too. I more do this for fun than I do to be like super professional. But if this makes things more convenient for my viewers, then so be it. All the power to them and to me to do this. So yeah, getting into the games themselves. This is game one of the semifinals of the official Smogon tournament, and the winner is going to go on to face Mincemeat, who was able to defeat Akola in the other semifinal series, which you can see on my channel, uploaded just a couple days ago. Anyway, James is using a team with James is Insult, by the way, using a team with Clefable, Seismitoad, Aegislash, Incineroar, Zero Aura, and Corviknight. It looks like a pretty solid balanced team, maybe even leaning towards bulky offensive, just given the pace of the SS metagame, but it still has the elements of a balanced team, such as Seismitoad, the Rocker, plus Wish, Clefable, presumably, and the default Corviknight, and also Incineroar as a pivot. So while it does have some offensive momentum from Pokemon like Aegislash, which is a prime breaker in the metagame, and Zoro Aura, which is a great revenge healer and also can function as a win conditioner breaker, depending on the set. It probably plays a bit more balanced than not. So yeah, but it looks like a really solid team on his part. FlamingVictini, on the other hand, is using a bit more interesting of a team. He has Pokemon like Bisharp and Primarina and Gengar, which can be flashy, breaking Pokemon, or just do a number to opponents depending on the set. If I had to guess, it would be the Substitute, Hex, Will-O-Wisp, Sludge Bomb, or Sludge Wave variant of Gengar, which I've been seeing quite a bit of lately, and you've actually been seeing quite a bit of an OST in general lately. It seems to be a nice trendy pick in the metagame. Ghost types are quite hard to check, but also couple this with the fact that it also has Will-O-Wisp and Black Sludge. It's just a great utility presence and offensive presence in general. Beyond that, he also has Bisharp, which is a great win condition. However, in this battle against Incineroar and a likely physically defensive Corviknight with Body Press, I don't know if it'll be able to do much damage without getting rocks up and potentially some chip that things like Ferrothorn, Clefable, and Rodent Heat might be able to provide. And also on the offensive end of things from FV, he has Primarina, which is more likely than not going to be a substitute plus Calm Mind variant, which is quite good in this metagame if it isn't encountering one of a small handful of things. Actually, a very underrated Pokemon in my eyes. It could also be like a Trap Perish Song set, which we saw Soulgage use in SPL, or even alternatively speaking, could be a Choice Specs variant, which is just devastatingly strong. Nothing is able to withstand 2 HP besides something like Ferrothorn. So yeah, going into the game, I think that the matchup favors FlamingVictini due to the presence of Primarina. It's really hard to take that out for James, especially considering that he's going to want to naturally pivot into things like Seismitoad and Clefable, but those won't really be able to do a number to it. And it could just potentially sub-command up against it, and it threatens the Incineroar for sure, but also it should be able to 2KO the Zoroark, and also at +1, it should be able to 2KO the Aegislash. So let's get on into the game here. Right off the bat, I'm going to see Incineroar lead off into Ferrothorn. That's a really good start for the Insult side. However, I assume he's going to go for a knockoff predicting switch. He does indeed that, as Clefable comes in trying to take what would hopefully be a defensive Flare Blitz, and then he's going to be faster and go for a Thunder Wave and get the full paralysis, which is really unfortunate for James. As he then goes for a parting shot, finally being able to pivot out and get the Seismitoad in, which could very well set up its own rocks. However, the James is actually going to go for Toxic, predicting the Primarina to come in, which seems like a bit of an overpredict there. On just a soft-boiled, so no big loss there. Rocks go up, and then he's going to go for a knockoff into the incoming Ferrothorn, which goes for a knockoff of its own. So they essentially traded their item. I think that's completely fine by both players. And James, knowing it's not going to be a power variant of Ferrothorn, goes for Scald, and is able to notch the burn there, which is nice to get that damage off. However, Clefable comes in here, picking the leech seed, so now the burn is going to chip the Ferrothorn even more. And I assume we're going to see a teleport here. Instead, we're going to see a Wish, just fine. As Rodent Heat comes in, reveals its heavy duty boost, and goes for a nasty plot. Now Seismitoad is going to heal up from that Wish after the teleport. We get all the way up to full here, unsurprisingly. And now Clefable is going to come in, presumably on a Toxic. Yep, well played there from FlamingVictini. Now James is going to go to that Corviknight and try and get the defog off himself. He's going to come in on a Moonblast as well, so only 14% damage there, which is pretty good. He's going to shrug that off, thankfully. And now he's going to go to Incineroar, perhaps predicting a knockoff. I don't know. Maybe he just got for Thunderwave. I don't really know what that does for him though. As he's going to take the Moonblast parting shot out, and now it's going to go to Aegis Slash, I guess. But now it's taking Hazard. I feel as if defogging might have been a little bit better there for Insult, but I digress. He's going to bring Aegis Slash in. He's going to threaten out the Clefable and go for a fat Flash Cannon, revealing its choice specs. Going to be able to cure the Fire Thorn from that health as well. So Young is going to get that 2 here. He goes for another Flash Cannon, just 14% to that Rotom. And now Seismitoad's going to come for Insult. If he's got Toxic here, he's going to go for it almost undoubtedly. And he does indeed a really good play there for FlamingVictini, who's going to now permanently chip this Seismitoad with Toxic. But Insult makes a nice play, doubling back to this Aegis Slash. Unfortunately, it's taking Flash Cannon damage consistently. But fortunately for Spikes and Rock damage consistently. But fortunately, he's going to just be able to get in and go for a safe Shadow Ball, taking out that Fire Thorn and making a 6-5 game. However, Bisharp is able to come in and take advantage of the Shadow Ball a lot. So Incineroar is going to come in for James. While it does trigger the Defiant with Intimidate, he's able to take 2 resisted attacks as the knockoff does 41, leaving him at 35. Unfortunately, though, he's going to get fully paralyzed as the Clefable comes in, and now he's in hazard damage, so defog is going to be really important. Now we're going to see Clef go for a Moonblast and Insults Clef, and then Thunder Wave in the following turn as we see a Wish here. And Rotom Heat's going to come in on what I assume would be a teleport, but oh, it's a full process. And that's really unfortunate for the Insult side there. Now we're going to just see a Volt Switch here on what I assume to be another Wish to try and reloop things. However, it's going to be another full process, and that's looking really good for FlamingVictini now. So he should be able to get a substitute off, as he's indeed the Black Sludge variant. And as we see here, it's going to be able to withstand the Moonblast from Clefable while standing behind the substitute still. So that's favorable for FlamingVictini. And then, is he going to predict the switch and go for what was? No, he's going to go for a Sludge Wave predicting to stay in, which makes that a really good play there from James. So I assume he's just going to go for Defog, knowing that the Bisharp is going to come in as his Gengar's behind a substitute, and he does that indeed. However, that does soften up his defenses against the Bisharp quite a lot. This is now burnt and potentially in range, and taking that Hex, as U-turn does not quite break this up after Moonblast, which is really unfortunate for Insult there. But he goes Clefable here. I'm not really sure if that was a play. Right back to Corviknight now. I guess just to fire this off instead of anything else, as he thought the U-turn break this up, but didn't. Maybe it's just U-turn plus body presses that only moves that do damage. But either way, it's now going to be a 5-5 game, and this Gengar is sitting pretty behind a substitute. And a Seismitoad, unfortunately for Insult, is going to have to be the fodder of choice, as it's going to take a whole 69% from that Hex, live after poison with 1%, and knocking off the Gengar, and then die in the follow-up Sludge Wave. This lets Zeraora come in, but Zeraora isn't going to be able to break through this Rotom Heat that's healthy now, only doing 23% with the Plasma Fist, leaving it well over half health. And he's going to go for a Toxic trying to catch it, but Clefable's going to come in, so this could give Insult a chance to teleport and get some momentum, but he's going to get fully powered again, and that seems to be really, unfortunately, the end of Insult in this game, as he's getting full powered time after time after time again. However, a Wish here could potentially let him heal up something like that Incineroar after a teleport, and he's going to get that Incineroar in. It is paralyzed, however, so it's going to have to avoid process repeatedly, as not only to break this up, potentially to break future subs if he tries to Fisher Power, and unfortunately for Insult, he's going to get paralyzed in the first time once more, making this a really frustrating game for him, and a pretty lopsided win for FlamingVictini, unfortunately. We're going to get the full process there, and then to add Insult's injury, he's going to fish for it once, but thankfully for Insult, he's not going to get it. However, it's too little too late, as FlamingVictini, seeing as he wants to preserve some health, is going to get that Sludge Wave off, and that is going to take out the Incineroar, leaving the Zeraora in to go for Plasma Fist in hopes of taking out the Gengar. However, the Gengar is going to withstand this attack and go for a Willis here, making it even worse for Insult, as this game looks pretty much over from this point on. Knockoff is going to be able to take out that Gengar, which was indeed threatening beforehand. However, this is going to allow for the Rotom Heat to come out and check this for real. Knockoff here is going to be able to knock off the Heavy Duty Boots, but Nasty Plot here is going to be able to let this Rotom Heat get a kill for sure. And as we see here, he's not going to go Clefable, which is easily in range of +2 overheat. Would have been even in range of +0 overheat. You take it out, and now the Rotom Heat still neutralized special attack with the Zeraora board only doing 18% with the close combat. It's not going to be enough, as Nasty Plot plus the fact that close combat dropped the special defense is going to easily lead to overheat taking this out, barring a critical hit from close combat, and that is indeed the case. It does do that. And now Aegis Slash is left to take on 4 Pokemon while being choice back, so needless to say, it's not going to be able to do that. He's going to reveal that he is quicker than Rotom Heat, which is completely nonsensical. You really need to be faster than Togekiss on this team. Gengar is not Air Slash switching, but I digress. He's also going to be faster than the Bisharp. Perhaps it means it's a timid variant. That would make a lot of sense, given that outrun Rotom Heat. But either way, even a Flash Cannon is only going to be able to do 85% to Bisharp, as the knockoff will take it out. And it's going to be a 3-0 victory for FlamingVictini, who got quite a bit of assistance from the Yellow Magic there. Okay, so let's get into Game 2 now. We're going to see Insult once again on our side against FlamingVictini on the other side. And Insult bringing a pretty reliable team. It has Hippowdon, Excadrill, Clefable, Rotom Heat, Ferrothorn, and Terrakion. So it looks like a pretty solid balance team here with the Hippo plus Extra Core. Nothing too out of the ordinary there. On FlamingVictini's side, more of a flashy offensive team. I don't even know if you could necessarily call it hyper offense. I guess you could with Stealth Rock Rhyperior. But I just call it offense in general as a vague applicable term. There's also Cinderace for potential opposing hazards or screens or whatever you may have. So yeah, it's Cinderace, Togekiss, Zeraora, Rhyperior, Cloyster, and Bisharp. Looking at this matchup right off the bat, if Cloyster is able to get a flinch against Ferrothorn, it does look nice, but there is also the extra and Sand to revenge kill it. So that's not going to be a lone one condition. However, that combined with something like Togekiss or even Swords Dance Rhyperior could go a long way. So we're going to have to wait and see what the sets are and how the game plays. Sequentially thinking, Effie is going to have to get a lot of things right to be able to break through, but it's surely possible. I would give the matchup a very slight favor to Insult here due to X-Drill being present. In fact, I think even more than slight. I think that's a pretty favorable matchup for Insult, all things considered. X-Drill is able to revenge kill pretty much everything, and the only priorities, Sucker Punch and Ice Shard, are not able to kill it. Sucker Punch would be able to 2-hit kill it or kill it at +2, however, getting a Swords Dance against the team is hard, and there's also the combination of Hippowdon and Terrakion, which should be able to either revenge kill or stop the Bisharp sweep in its tracks. In addition to this, one good thing about FlamingVictini's matchup is that he does have Cinderace, which should deter the setting up of hazards from Insult side. Especially seeing is the Ferrothorn is more likely than not going to be spikes on this team, seeing as Hippowdon more than likely than not is going to be covering rocks. So yeah, let's get into this game. Right off the bat, we're going to see Hippowdon lead off and perhaps trying to get a Brox itself. Togekiss is going to come in, however, as Rhyperior was the lead for FlamingVictini. Interesting that he's not going to set Brox of his own. Now Rhyperior is going to double on in here on a Rotom Heat. It's a really good play there for FlamingVictini. Interestingly enough, Insult's going to go for Toxic, predicting the rocks. However, it's going to happen on a Swords Dance, and that is very threatening, as not only does he get Swords Dance, but he also reveals Lumberry, which is very bizarre. And now FlamingVictini predicting this track end is going to go for Earthquake, and all of a sudden, we have a big hole for Insult, who's going to also reveal that he was Whirlwind on Hippowdon, but this is a Swords Dance Dragon Tail right here. It's almost as if this is something out of like Blue Styles book where you just knew all those sets, but anyway, the Ferrothorn, thankfully, is going to be able to withstand one Earthquake and get a Body Press off, which should put the Rhyperior into extra range. But at this point, the damage has been done. We've gotten 2 kills, and the Hippowdon has been shipped, which could potentially leave it being ranged for something like a Grass Knot from Zeraora after a close combat, or a +2 Bisharp. However, we're going to see here that it is Court Change Cinderace, and then he's going to go for a Taunt the following turn. However, Hippowdon is going to see through that and go for an Earthquake. Now, Cloyster is going to come in from FlamingVictini on the Shell Smash. However, Earthquake is going to come out from Hippowdon as it is taunted by Thora, and we're going to see 51% damage and 2 Sand turns left. And to add insult to injury, the Cloyster is going to be able to kill that Clefable, that special defensive in 1 hit, which is going to allow for that X-Drill to revenge kill this Cloyster. So the game is far from over. X-Drill is still very much intact, even after delivering a +2 Ice Shard, even after taking +2 Ice Shard, it lives with 45%. And to make that even better, it's going to take leftover for 51%. And next time Hippowdon comes in, we're going to get fresh Sand turns if need be. As we see here, it's going to be set up for a whole other 5 to 8 turns. And it's going to be 5. It's not it's Rocky Helmet. And showing its Rocky Helmet, it's going to be +2 Iron Hit from Bisharp, which comes in and try and take out that extra. One for a Switch, and Switch was a really nice play. Only doing 47%. And now Togekiss is going to come in to try and revenge kill. However, the Rotom Heat's going to wisely come out in here. And it looks like all of a sudden Insult turned this game completely around, just showing how good Hippowdon plus X-Drill teams could be against this hyper offense. And despite an Air Slash crit there, it looks as if taking out this Rotom, even if that does happen, will be a futile effort ultimately for FlamingVictini in the grand scheme of things, as X-Drill can revenge kill this. And seeing as the Hippowdon is at Hippowdon can come in and live rocks and then set up sand, and then the game ends pretty much against Zeraora. So yeah, but even despite an overheat miss and Togekiss getting a critical hit with Air Slash, the Rotom Heat actually is going to be able to win 1v1, and then Hippowdon is going to come in to sort of pivot into the Zeraora, and it is going to be a bulk up variant. However, it's not going to be enough, as Hippowdon has Rocky Helmet, so you're always taking Rocky Helmet damage. And also, if you didn't go for bulk up there, then if you did go for a bulk up there again, then 2 Earthquakes would have taken out, 1 from Hippowdon, 1 from X-Drill. So yeah, that's going to be a wrap, but it's going to be a good game. FlamingVictini is going to fall to Insult in game 2, and now we're going to be going on to game 3 of the set, where FlamingVictini happens to use a very recognizable team, hint, hint, hint. In fact, the same exact 6 that he used game 1, and all likely the same sets, whereas Insult's using a bit of a fresh team himself, which is very cool core of Salazzle and Keldeo. Salazzle is able to get Toxic off on anything, including Steel types, or even Poison types like Toxapex, and that can set up for a potential Calm Mind Keldeo to really go in. So Corrosion Salazzle paired with a Keldeo that's likely Substitute plus Calm Mind just a superb core, and I think it's really underrated. And I'm glad Insult's making use of it here. However, he is going to run into some threatening Pokemon on the other end of things, such as Primarina and Gengar. So it's going to be a close game for sure, but let's wait and see how this plays out. So right off the bat, we're going to see Insult lead off with that Salazzle, and it's going to counter Rotom Heat. So it's going to be able to get off a Toxic here, and if this isn't Discharge Power, then that's a good start. It is not Discharge. It goes for the Volt Switch there, only doing 49%. Now Gengar's going to come in and go for a Hex into that Gastron for only 26%. Clefable comes in on a Scald from the Gastrodon, and it takes 18% return of it, and it itself is also probably especially defensive. And now Corviknight's going to come in to take that Thunder Wave, which means that it's the same Clef from last game. It's going to be, oh no, just kidding, it's Rocks. It's going to take 38% from that Brave Bird, which is a lot of damage. Brave Bird likely being there for things like Conkeldurr, even is nice for extra damage against things like Keldeo or Groudon, which are able to hit neutrally if instead of Iron Head, although Body Press does more than that. Anyway, we're going to see Stealth Strike there on a follow-up Brave Bird. So yeah, Corviknight does have pressure, which is really cool. I'm wondering if he's going to also Body Press with this Brave Bird. I don't think he's going to have it, seeing as he's Keldeo and Como-O for Bisharp. However, it could lead to Bisharp getting a bit annoying in a defog. But James is going to see through that and go for the Brave Bird there, not giving it the free +2. However, we could still see a knockoff here, but then we're going to see a switch to Gengar on the Como. Finally, Insult's going to catch a break himself, and he's going to dodge a Will-O-Wisp, getting off 95% with that Earthquake. And now Clefable's going to come in for FlamingVictini on the back foot there, only taking 29% from that Earthquake, so he's able to wish it off if need be, or softball it off if need be, depending on the set. And instead, he's going to go for Moonblast on knowing he can withstand a couple other hits. And that Moonblast is going to do 15% to this likely physically defensive Corviknight, giving that damage. And now we're probably going to see, no, he's going to go for the Brave Bird, predicting a switch. But that Brave Bird is going to get Curse Bodied as Gengar dies off there. Allowing the Primarina to come in and set up, which is really unfortunate for Insult, as if he could just spam Brave Bird, then that would be able to happen, potentially buying full paralysis. He's going to go for sub here, as Clefable comes in and teleports, letting the Corviknight in. See, that basically bought 2 free turns with FlamingVictini, so he got a sub up and a combined up. And now it looks as if this can just win the game on the spot, as he gets the Scald up here for 48%. And while Brave Bird does take out the sub, the Corviknight's going to be easily in range for another Scald to take this out. Alternatively speaking, FlamingVictini could go for substitutes just to finish for full paralysis, but he's not going to do that, which is a smart play, as this leaves him healthy enough to easily live a Sludge Wave from the Salazzle. So Salazzle's going to go for a Desperation Toxic to try and cripple it and to stall with Gastrodon. And unfortunately, the FlamingVictini side is going to see through that, go to Rotom Heat, and then go for a Volt Switch again into Como-O, letting Clefable on in here. So yeah, it looks like FV has clawed back into a favorable position here. And Gastrodon's going to come in here now, knowing it should be able to wall this Thunder Wave, Stealth Rock, Clefable, only taking 23% from Moonblast. And now he goes for a cover as Ferrothorn comes in from FV. Leading to the Como to come in from Insult on a knockoff. So it's only going to take 7% there, which is good for the Insult side as he gets his own rocks up. But Spikes also being laid up is a lot less good, as that's going to hit the Keldeo, the Gastrodon, and the Como-O, which is quite a bit, considering the Defogger is dead. Those are up to stack. Especially seeing as FV doesn't like Live Defogger, we're going to see some Wish Teleport action there, healing up the Salazzle for the Insult side. But now, if you're full of a Thunder Wave, despite having a super effective attack, he's going to go right back to Gastrodon on that Thunder Wave. And it looks as if Insult's ability to make progress is quite slowed here. As he goes Gastrodon, he fires off the Scald into the Clefable, which still has leftovers intact, so it's really just shrugged off entirely. It only does like 11 to 12% net damage, as we see there. And Resident Special attack drops only do 11, which is only like 4 or 5% net damage. So, yeah, after continuous Moonblast, the Clefable is finally going to be forcing the Gastrodon to recover up, and it does that, getting up to 83%, and then a follow-up recover all the way up to full health after a Moonblast is 24. The thing is that as these turns occur, the Clefable is not only getting drops in the special attack, but also recovering from leftovers or just barely shrugging off Scald to wasting that PP. So it looks pretty good for FlamingVictini in his 1v1 and overall. Another special attack drops with the Scald to do about the same amount of damage as leftovers, so there's no real viable way to proceed in this 1v1. However, FlamingVictini seeing this is going to switch out to Ferrothorn on a Scald, and it's not going to burn, unfortunately, for the Insult side. Now, I assume we're going to see another layer of Spikes. No, he's going to go for Leech Seed. That's unfortunately for FlamingVictini going to miss against Como-O. Nope, we're going to see an Earthquake here, perhaps predicting the Clefable or Primarina and wanting to add damage Body Press as Ferrothorn goes for a follow-up Leech Seed. And then finally, Taunt, the correct play from Insult, he's going to come in there as Body Press is able to then take it out on the following turn for 53%. But Body Press from the Ferrothorn is going to do 19% for the Como, so it would at best for Insult be a trade after Iron Barbs, but he's going to go for that trade. However, FlamingVictini doesn't feel a need to go to it as he goes Clefable, and then Clefable's going to get taunted, but he's going to see through that and go for Moonblast. That does prevent him from Thunder Wave into Salazzle, however. So he's going to go to Salazzle in a last-ditch effort to try and win the game. However, it's going to go for a Nasty Plot here, which is great, but Sucker Punch is going to do 85% to it, which is an immense amount of damage. And that would be great, if it was +4 and able to take out this Rotom. So kind of the 50-50 there really decided the game, because Nasty Plot Salazzle would have won the game potentially in the spot and booked Insult to take it to the finals. But unfortunately, he only went for one Swords Dance. He was scared of the knockoff, and he was taken out by the combination of Sucker Punch and the attack from the Rotom Heat. And at last, the Keldeo is going to take out. They're going to go for Kama and try and take out Primarina, but Primarina's going to be critical hit. It didn't really matter, though. Prima always wins that 1v1. And from here, the game is pretty much over. We'll put it on fast. But yeah, going to take a little stalling here. But ultimately, there's no way this FlamingVictini team decided to lose. He's got so much more PP, and he could just do this with Primarina. As you see, Moonblast not breaking substitute. And Primarina is able to just win the game from here. As Clear Spark does not break the sub. And of course, it's not able to negate the stat changes. So yeah, Primarina is ultimately going to emerge victorious here. Unfortunately, it kind of came down to if Insult was able to get another Nasty Plot up. It was a cool attack he had on that Salazzle with Nasty Plot, but he wasn't. And FlamingVictini is going to emerge victorious this game in 4-0. The game was closer than the score. It really came down to Salazzle sequence. Yeah, a tight series, well played by both. Unfortunately, my friend Insult wasn't going to fall there, but hey, good FlamingVictini making it to the finals. And I'll be sure to bring you the finals between FV and Mincemeat. Peace.